Hi, this is Scott Siskin. I'm the president of First Republic Mortgage Bankers. When you need a mortgage, call First Republic Mortgage Bankers and deal direct. Eliminate the middleman. No mortgage broker fees. Stop wasting your hard-earned money on your high-rate mortgage and your credit cards. You can save every single month by refinancing. You personally can save every month by locking in the lowest rates in over 30 years. And we make house calls to the entire tri-state area 7 days a week. Call 718-380-0006 if you're buying a home or you want to refinance your home. 718-380-0006.
Some people believe in being complacent. That's not me. Folks, if any day I'm a complacent, man, I'll go sit down and play with my kids. I can't do that. I've got to be giving energy. I got to be myself. I got to be pumping people up, and especially when it's 100% for real. We just spoke about real estate. How many of you are not in real estate? Scott, why would you want to be in real estate? Let me ask you that. Why are you in real estate anyway?
Well, let's say, look at it this way. Why wouldn't you want to be in real estate? Why would you want to pay rent? When I first met you, you were paying a big amount in rent. Why you got to use
me as an example all the time, man?
And I'm looking at you, and I see you talk with your hands, just like Jewish people. They say Jewish people talk with their hands.
I talk with everything, man.
Oh, really? Well, I'm glad I'm looking you from the waist up,
He's on fire today.
Listen, folks, you should own real estate because it's better than renting. It's a really, listen, for most people, after the tax man is done taking 35 to 40% out of your check and you pay rent, there's not really that much left over. The rent is outrageous. The rent in this area is just completely outrageous. It really doesn't matter, good neighborhood, bad neighborhood, whatever neighborhood you're in, it's very expensive. It keeps going up and up and up. And that's one thing that's great about buying two-family homes. And that's why we've been talking about affordable housing. And, we have some great examples that we're going to give people later. Cambria Heights, Bayshore, St. Albans, the Bronx. The most expensive of all four is $429,000 for a two-family in Cambria Heights. So, people who say you cannot buy a home using the FHA program, you can't get affordable housing, it's right here in your backyard, folks. When you call here at 718-325-5555, speak to Eddie. Not only is he the longest running loan officer, not only is he also a homeowner, not only is he an investor, but I would consider him one of the most patient men when it comes to explaining the benefits of homeownership and how you can get there. Folks, you really, if you're paying rent, it's time to fire your landlord. And one of the things I talked about earlier, Dave, was Squeeze. Sorry, getting friendly here.
You can call me Dave, man.
Okay, I'm glad we got down to a first name basis now. You can call me El Presidente.
There's certain things you just can't call me, man.
Okay. Well, we'll leave that to others. The thing is, people are always looking for good investments. People are always looking to get rich quick. And you know what? The American dream really is not getting rich quick for most people. The opportunity is there for everybody to get rich. And how you do it is your 401k. It's for home ownership over years, developing equity in your home to the point where you have no mortgage or you're able to use your house to get the money that you need to buy other things, to buy other properties, to create wealth. And these are things that everybody who has a pay stub W-2 job or even off the books kind of job, you have the opportunity to do. But you know what? You have to get the facts. And that's what's so important. And when you call 718-325-5555, you'll get the facts. I once saw on Money Magazine, you want to earn 18% interest? Right? You get excited, right? Everybody wants to earn 18% interest. Guaranteed? Pay off your credit cards. It's a simple way to make 18%. Because every cent that you pay to your credit card company, you are in fact earning 18 and sometimes as high as 30% return on your capital. So some of you should even, and I don't like to say this because I'm a big believer in 401ks, if your company's matching 3%, only put 3% in, use the rest of the money, every penny you have to start paying down your credit cards. And it may be a very daunting challenge for many of you because maybe it's a very large amount, but you got to start somewhere. And if you are a homeowner, well, you know what? It's a whole lot easier because you can start by calling 718-325-5555 and join the refinancing boom that we're having here at First Republic Mortgage Bankers. So many people who couldn't be approved for conventional loans. So many people with low credit scores who are driven away have been helped at First Republic Mortgage Bankers. And I think it's time for people to take stock of their economics because, Squeeze, when you have a family, it's really like a business.
It is like a business.
Right?
It's very, very much like a business. As a matter of fact, I was saying to Mr. Bernstein the other day that, going home, it's another job. And you have to know how to manage that job, every single part of it. And it's like a business. You've got to save money at home, not just, when you're out there doing other things. And you know what, Scott? So a lot of people talk, and a lot of people say a lot of things in the newspaper, on television, on radio. Now, there's something that separates you from a lot of individuals out there. Let's talk interest rates for about 3 minutes. Then I would like to open up the phone lines so all 27 lines can be opened up for you, Eddie Albert, and all the other loan officers to take some calls and help out everyone that's listening across the tri-state area, in Florida, in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, in Maine, South Carolina, and even other states. So what are the interest rates? And let me also hold the APRs on the interest rates, man, because there's several programs that you have, several specials that you have before we open up the phone lines at 718-325-5555.
Okay, well, I have to admit that I actually am going to have to ask DJ Sean to bring the APRs over to me because I didn't travel with my APRs, and I don't have them memorized, to be honest with you. I guess my mind is working in other directions. But,
Right.
We have right now specials for refinancing, and it's available for conventional and FHA. Right now we have, 5.375% on a 30-year conventional rate. And the beauty of this is you can get...
Repeat that. Repeat that for me, man. People, DJ Sean, we need to stop that music, man. Right now, we need to stop it because people hear it and people don't believe it. Now, not everyone in the world will get this interest rate, but take a listen to the interest rate that you can get now for refinancing, and it is a 30-year fixed. Repeat that for me, Scott Siskin.
Okay, well, people sometimes don't really get the fact of what eighths are, because it's a decimal, but it's also a fraction, but it's less than a half. Let's put it that way. It's in between a quarter and a half. 5.375%. So that's 5 3/8% for conventional. The FHA is a little bit higher, which is 5%. Now, why FHA? Why conventional? Well, let's bluntly put it that FHA is a more expensive loan inherently. And that's why people always will go for a conventional loan, and we always try to put people in a conventional loan as a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac approved seller servicer. That's the first place we look to go, and we have the automated systems to make exceptions. And it's a beautiful program. If you're going below 80%, there's no mortgage insurance premiums, which makes it a whole lot cheaper for people. But you know what? There's a lot of people who cannot fit into that conventional programs. And
Why would I want to go FHA?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. For example, if you have a low credit score, if your credit score is below 620, and Fannie Mae is actually tightening up on the credit scores also. But right now, if you're below 620, well, you know what? The FHA program will welcome you, even if.
But I'm going to have to come up with a closing cost, and I'm going to have to pay that closing cost up front, don't I?
Yeah, that's really tough. No, actually, that's one of the things I like to say is there's no cash out of pocket when it comes to refinancing, and that's
What
why
does that mean?
when you're doing a refinance, you can finance all the costs. So when we talk to success stories. We talk about how much money they're saving every month and what they're getting out and so forth. That is inclusive of all the costs. So they're not taking any cash out of pocket. They're not coming into the closing with $10,000 check in order to be able to close. No, they walk out with money. They don't walk in with money. So that's something.
So,
go ahead.
Let me cut you again. So you're saying, Scott Siskin, that the conventional might not fit me. And if I go with the FHA, yes, the closing cost is going to be a little bit higher. But I shouldn't be too worried about that because the closing cost can be financed over 30 years. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know what it is? When it comes to all refinancing, you can refinance even a 15-year. You can consolidate all your debts. You can finance all the costs that are associated with it.
Okay.
The thing is that if you have to go to an FHA, usually it's because of a credit score issue, maybe late payments on your existing mortgage, which are not tolerated by conventional, and it allows you can go up to 95% with cash out as opposed to 80%. It's very powerful in the ability for people to still get a good interest rate rather than these subprime programs, which, by the way, are not many of them are in existence now. So it's not even a choice of getting a higher rate.
Okay.
It's a choice of getting a loan or not getting a loan, being able to buy a house or not being able to buy a house. So those of you out there, there's many of you who have been rejected for refinancing. You call up and all they want to know is your credit score, or they run your credit, they tell you your middle credit score. Call us in 6 months. That's not what happens at First Republic. We have the programs and we have the authority to actually make judgment calls because, when it comes to FHA guidelines, there's subjective and there's objective, meaning that the guidelines are in writing, objective, but there's a subjective point of view from an underwriter where the leeway is given that they can make decisions. And we've had recently some certain issues where, I personally went to the guidelines myself because there were certain things that were, people learn things anecdotally. And in the office, we were able to flex our muscles a little bit because if I see something in the writing in the guidelines, and I can clearly understand the intent of the guidelines, sometimes there's alternative paperwork that we can do. There's an alternative way that we can meet those guidelines because we're making the decisions and we have to back those decisions financially.
First Republic Mortgage Bankers is a licensed mortgage banker, direct lender in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Florida, Delaware, Maryland, Georgia, South Carolina, headquartered at 110 Jericho Turnpike, Floral Park, New York.